Here's the truth. In real estate, if an offer sounds too good to be true, it probably is. But when you're under pressure, those offers can look tempting. That's exactly how people get burned. And in this market, it happens more than you'd think. In this video, I'm breaking down 4 clear warning signs that a cash offer isn't what it seems. These are the things I want every homeowner to recognize, because if you catch them early, you'll save yourself from wasted time, unnecessary stress, and maybe even losing thousands of dollars. I'm Jeremy Schooler, your rebel real estate guy. I am the founder of Kitsap Home Pro, a company that is built different, built on purpose, so that we can help real people navigate what I call the common real estate problem. We don't box you into one option. We help you understand the options. We help you create customized solutions for hard to sell homes and properties. Red flag number 1. The price is way above market value. Let's talk about the first red flag. An offer that looks way too high. I get it. Every seller wants the highest number possible. But when an offer comes in that's much higher than what the similar homes are selling for in your neighborhood, it's usually not a gift. It's likely a setup. Here's what often happens. The buyer dangles a big number to get your attention. It feels good. It gets you interested. And maybe you even stop considering any other offers. But then after an inspection or some vague due diligence, they come back and say, well, actually, the house isn't worth what we thought it was, so we need to drop our offer. We need to change that price. And now you're on the hook. Weeks are wasted with fewer options left. You end up feeling kind of stuck there. You could walk away, but then you'll have to start all over trying to get the deal put back together. My advice is that you walk away. Maybe this buyer can close at whatever number they say now, but simply, I don't trust them, and I would walk away if only for the principle of the matter. That's how I would advise you, but it does cost you something at that point. You've lost some time now. This tactic is common with like the big national companies, but smaller local folks will do it too. They're playing the volume game. They'll throw out inflated offers, hoping to tie up as many houses as possible, and then they'll renegotiate later. This is pretty common. They actually track how many offers they're making, and they're making so many offers every week so that they can make sure they know they're closing maybe one of those, but they might throw out 50 offers in a week. So they really don't care. They're just dropping offers out there and hoping they'll get one, right? They don't get them all, but they get enough to make it make sense, and it's all about money for them. Obviously, this matters for all of us. I would imagine it matters to you too. But I found that the real value isn't in the money, it's in the service and the help offered to solve a problem. The lesson: compare the offer against real market data. If it's out of step with similar sales, ask questions. A real buyer will have clear, reasonable explanation for how they came up with their number. A scammer is going to kind of try to dodge that question. They won't be able to give a clear explanation on why they're willing to offer so much. Okay, red flag number 2, kind of vague or rushed contract terms. This second flag is in the paperwork. It's in the details. If the contract looks rushed, incomplete, or overly vague, that's a problem. Here's what to look out for. Blank spaces in the contract, terms you don't understand and they won't explain to you, missing details about closing costs, timelines, or contingencies, pressure to sign today before you've read everything through. Some buyers will try to create urgency by saying things like, the deal expires at midnight, or don't worry about the details, we'll fill those in later. That's not a professional deal, that's manipulation. A trustworthy buyer slows down with you. They'll sit across the table, walk through the paperwork line by line, and encourage you to ask questions. Because if it is a fair offer, there's no reason to hide the details. Here's red flag number 3, no proof of funds. If someone says they're paying cash, they should be able to prove they actually have the cash. Period. Here's the scam. They put your house under contract, but don't actually have the money. What they're really doing is trying to wholesale your property. That means that they're going to get it locked up in contract, then they're going to shop around with that contract to find another buyer. If they succeed, maybe you'll get paid, but not always the amount that was promised, and usually after a stressful delay of some sort. If they fail to find someone else, the deal falls apart and you're left with nothing but lost time. The fix for all of that is pretty simple. Ask for a proof of funds. That could be a bank statement or a letter from their financial institution. A real buyer has that ready. If they make excuses, change the subject, or say, trust me, that's your signal to just maybe walk away from that one. Now, I want to be really clear here. Wholesaling is totally legit. It's a process that can be done well and serve you well. Any contract, so you know, is completely assignable. This is what it's called. It's called an assignment. You can get it in contract for anything. If you're selling a vehicle, that when you sign the title, you can assign that to someone else and they can be the ones that end up taking ownership of that vehicle. It's the same thing with a house. When you have a contract to sell a house, you can assign that to someone else and they're the actual end buyer. So it can be done well and serve you well. There are a lot of good buyers out there that don't want anything to do with the marketing or building a business around finding properties to buy. They just want to buy the property and do the work of the rehab. They don't want the part of the business that I do, working with clients like you. So those buyers will depend on wholesalers to find deals that work and bring them to buy. I do it all the time, but when I do, I'll be straight with you about what I'm doing. If I intend on closing on it myself, I'll tell you that. But if I intend on finding another buyer, I'll tell you that too. And I'll specifically set it up so that you understand what's going on and why. I give a fairly short amount of time to find another buyer so that you don't have to wait and waste time. I'll also tell you what I think of the numbers. I'll tell you straight about whether or not I think this is going to work well for you. That was kind of a side road, I know, but just a reminder, that third red flag, no proof of funds. If someone says they're paying cash, they should be able to prove they actually have it, period. And if you ask for proof of funds and they can't show that, that's going to expose what's really going on there one way or the other. Okay, red flag number 4, too much pressure and not enough respect. This last red flag is pressure. If you feel like someone is pushing you harder than they're respecting you, that's not a buyer you want to be working with. This can show up in many different ways. Maybe they keep calling and texting, trying to wear you down. Maybe they make you feel like you're running out of time or like you're foolish if you don't take the deal right away. Maybe they tell you other buyers won't want your house, so you should be grateful for what they're offering. Those are all tactics, and they're designed to keep you from thinking clearly. It's manipulative and should be avoided. It is totally okay for you to just walk away from. I would advise you to walk away from anything that looks like that. Here's the truth. A good buyer doesn't need to pressure you. They'll respect your timeline. They'll answer questions directly. They'll give you space to think about the offer, because a fair deal holds up even when you take the time to consider it. Each of these warning signs point to one bigger principle: respect. A shady buyer disrespects your time, your intelligence, and your situation. A trustworthy buyer does exactly the opposite. They're transparent, steady, and consistent. And let me tell you that operating with integrity like this can be very hard sometimes. To stay the course of being honest and trustworthy when you're competing with these other untrustworthy buyers can be very hard sometimes. Whether it's me or not, when you find someone you can trust, I highly advise you to work with them. If you catch even one of these red flags, don't ignore it. Slow down, ask more questions, or just walk away if you need to, because your home isn't just a property, it's part of your life. You deserve to be treated with clarity and honesty. When I make an offer, here's what you get: a fair number that lines up with the market, a clear contract with no missing pieces, proof of funds right up front or clarity about what I intend to do, and space to make your decision without pressure. That's how I operate, because at the end of the day, I'm not here to trick anyone into a deal. I don't need to trick anyone in. I offer a legit service to those that need it. I'm here to help people move forward with peace of mind. In the next video, we're going to wrap this series up by pulling everything together. How to identify a truly trustworthy cash buyer and what steps to take if you're considering selling. That way, you'll not only avoid the scams, you'll know exactly what to look for when the right opportunity shows up. If you've got an offer on the table and you're not sure if it's real, don't go it alone. Reach out. I'll help you break it down line by line. No pressure, no pitch, just clarity. I don't mind that you're buying from somebody else or you're selling to somebody else. I'm here to help you figure out what your next best step is.